My name is Amy. I work for the Pickaway County Library and Public Services. I'm going to do a short video on watercolors, which is the medium of choice that I enjoy. When starting a new picture for watercolor painting, I always start with a sketch first. It doesn't need to have very many details, just an idea of what you're doing to be able to have a guide to go by. Watercolors you can pick up really reasonable at Walmart. I got these at Hobby Lobby. You can pay anywhere from $1.50 up for watercolors. It doesn't have to be a really expensive medium to use. And I will post on our website. If you want to make your own, there is a recipe that I can show that you can make from supplies you have in your own kitchen. So first, when you start, you want to make sure you have water, something to mix your watercolors on if you want different colors than what they have selected for you. And I have chose a cactus. I thought it'd be fun. It's something that we're kind of going to be using for the summer reading program. So it's something we've already been looking at in the youth department and teens. So first you'll want to have your sketch ready, water, watercolors, a napkin to dry. You want to start with kind of a lot of water and really wet down your brush a lot, because watercolor is not a forgiving medium, but the water allows you to have a little bit more control in your artwork until it dries. Once it's dry, then you're out of luck. But I'm going to show you, start with not a lot of paint, but if you add water to it and dab your paintbrush, you can kind of lightly remove some of the watercolor and maybe change your mind or maybe correct a mistake. But once it dries, then it's there and you can't do anything with it other than cover. You can add paint to it to cover it up. So start out when you're painting with not a lot of paint and plenty of water, and it does give you a little bit of control. I also recommend that you, with something like this, I'm kind of giving it all, at least approximately a single color, and then I'll go back and add color to it as I see how I'm wanting to shade or give texture. I will add to it. Now, I do recommend a heavier weight paper because it does help the watercolor dry better. Otherwise, if you use too cheap a paper, which for young ones, that's fine, it will bubble up a good bit. So this is weighted paper for any type of art medium, and it will lay pretty good. So I will add shading as I go. To the areas I want. And this is a place where I am going to add a couple different colors. So I'm using the plate to kind of mix my colors. And this is where you can add some shading to areas that you want to give dimension to. And like I said, if you're not happy with something, go back with water in your brush and you can kind of pick up the paint and remove some of it. That way, if you feel like you've made a mistake, it's not going to stay there unless you let it dry. Once you let it dry, it's there. You can't really do much about it. But you can see by adding other colors, I can give it some dimension. And the plate is good for adding a couple colors together. So thank goodness I have a finished painting too, because otherwise you'll see me doing this for a while. It is something fun for any age, and like I said, it isn't something expensive to do. And if you do one and you're not happy, you haven't spent a lot of money on it, so you can always just toss it in the trash. So this gives you an idea of how things are done texture-wise. With the one I have done, I went back and gave it spines like this with short brush strokes. And I used one size brush for my whole thing. You can use different ones. It's a pretty good brush that came with it. So I was able to do pretty much everything with it and not have to change brushes. Now, it does better if you let it dry a bit before you add detail. But showing you, obviously, I'm trying to hurry. So I do have a finished one. This is my finished one. And I did it a couple days ago here at the library. And you can see where I've went back with lots of colors. I kept adding texture and I kept adding layers to give it dimension. But I think this is something that is fun for anybody to do, no matter your age. You can enjoy it without a costly without a lot of cost involved.